Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Bits of Behrend Athletics Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Bartholomew. I'm joined by Dan Dombrowski, or what other people know him as, Discus Dan, Dumbbell Dan, Dan the Man.
About all that. But, yeah, it's good to be here.
You can find Dan. He has multiple offices in the Junker Center, the strength conditioning room, the Sweeting Conference Room, and Office 104D.
Yeah, or wherever is available, and nobody kicks me out of. So
his door is always open.
As it has to be.
So, in the Behrend athletics world, crossover season is almost in full swing. The swimming and diving teams have begun their seasons, as well as the bowling team. We're about 2 weeks away from the basketball and wrestling seasons. And as Dan knows, the indoor track and field has began their practices. How are practices going, Dan?
Yeah, there's a lot to be excited for in the athletics world. Track, I can speak for directly. We have a lot of guys and women this year that are really excited to get after it, especially show their stuff come December. We're working really hard, and we're excited to be able to show you the results of that.
Yeah, this year, big focus on packing the Junker Center. First date of the basketball season is November 8th. The men's basketball team will take on Allegheny. The wrestling, they have many home matches this year. First date, November 13th against St. Vincent. Be Magnet Night. Every person will receive a schedule magnet. Many cool promotions are coming up. Big expectations for all the winter teams this season.
Yeah, no doubt.
To recap some of the scores from last week, the women's tennis team won the AMCC championship for the 15th time this year. Hard-fought battle against Pitt Greensburg, who's knocked us off the past 3 years, and we were finally able to have their number.
Yeah, Noah, as you might have seen on the PSB Athletics website, got to sub in and be the coach of the day. How was that experience for you?
Oh, it was a really cool experience. It was cool to see the girls and achieve something that they've been working for many years. Obviously, I just stepped in a fill-in role, but to be able to be a part of it was awesome. I can say now that I officially have the best winning percentage of all coaches at the Division III and the Major League level. Retirement might be in the works. The announcement might come later. We'll talk about it. I got to talk about it with my family. But yeah, it was really great experience. Hats off to those girls. They worked really hard. Not taking anything away from them. We also had our golf team. They competed at AMCC championships this past Monday. Great scores from all teams. We took 7th. Penn State Altoona was the winning team. It's a 4-peat for them. Tough golf weather, though, Dan. It was Monday. Was cold.
Not a great day. Yeah, it seems like the weather in this area really caught up to what we expect it to be, around here. Today it's beautiful. So
beautiful. Would have been a beautiful week this week to golf.
Right.
Might have made the scores a little bit better, but hats off to Penn State Altoona. They have some great golfers on that team.
100%.
Move on to the soccer world. Men's soccer picked up a pivotal tie against Alfred State, who is currently leading the AMCC right now. 0-0 tie. Hard-fought game. Watched it at home. A couple chances we had in the second half to score, but it was definitely a defensive battle for both teams. Women's soccer is just been handling their business.
Absolutely. Great soccer being played by both teams, really. The women are really taking their opportunity right now to shine.
It's unbelievable. Like the team camaraderie with the women's soccer team is they play so well together. I think they're outscoring their opponents 30-1 in conference play, which is just an absurd number.
Absolutely.
Trinity Prestash, who we'll get into a little bit, her numbers, she's climbing up the record books, making some history.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll get into her a little bit later. Women's volleyball team, 5-set battle at Alfred State on Wednesday, pulled off the win.
Mm-hmm.
Another big win for them. Alfred State is also leading the conference. in women's volleyball, so that was a really good win for them. The cross country team on Saturday ran at the historic Gettysburg Battlefield. I've never been. I don't know if you've ever been, Dan, to Gettysburg.
No, I've never been, but our cross-country team showed out really well, had some big-time personal bests. The number one time in the conference now, Lucas Boyd, shout out to him. Emil George with a big day as well. We've got many spots in the top 10 in AMCC cross-country.
Lot of PRs. Definitely a place that maybe we consider running every year if that's an option.
Yeah, based on who I talked to, it was a really good course. Obviously, a nice trip for them to get down there. Great course to run, and it seems to be, the cross-country runners are hitting their stride, no pun intended, at the right time. And it's awesome to see.
Our swimming and diving team was in action this Saturday at the Fall Classic in Webster, New York. Had some good times in the pool. Obviously, they just started their year, so they're getting into their strides. I know I talked to Coach Jen Wallace, and she said that there was some good times. You could tell people were raw. They're still getting into form in the season, so it's good to see them back in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a first couple meets, there's been some really good times being dropped in the pool. On the men's side and the women's side, they have a great freshman crew that is really showing out.
Fun fact, Dan was a really good swimmer in high school. He won't tell you that.
Really good is relative. But, I did swim for a long time, and that's about all I can say on that.
And we had our soccer teams on Saturday. Both went to Altoona. The men picked up a 2-0 victory over Penn State Altoona, which vengeance the loss last year, 1-0 here. So that's a good win for the men. And like I said earlier, women's soccer team just taking care of business. A 5-0 win at Altoona. Trinity Prestash had a goal. A couple other girls pitched in. Riley Morningstar does not get talked about very much. No slight on her. Very good goalkeeper.
Excellent.
She just does not get a lot of action. And that's a token to our defense, and we just score. We possess the ball a lot. We score a lot of goals. So nothing against her. If she is tested, she will show up, as shown last year.
As she has, right.
Yeah, as shown last year in the championship game against Pitt Greensburg in penalty kicks.
Yep. Yeah, we know we could definitely trust her to make a play when it's necessary. But it is nice. The women's soccer team and the men's, they both play really controlling soccer, right? They dominate time of possession, and they spend a lot of time in their opponent's end, which is really good, especially in come playoff season too.
And then our women's volleyball team had their tri-match at home. They welcomed Altoona, another 5-set battle for the girls. Unfortunately, Altoona was able to best them. It's a young volleyball team, Dan. There's a lot of future for them, lot of expectations they will hit. Just they're gonna have growing pains, first year players for sure.
No doubt, but definitely a high ceiling. We've seen a lot of talent come in this past year and this current year. The future is definitely bright for the women's volleyball team at Behrend.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we'll get into Trinity Prestash, who is a senior midfielder on the women's soccer team and just having a historic year so far. She ranks third all time with 58 career goals to go with her 15 goals that she scored this season. On Saturday, she just passed Olivia Belak, who played on the women's soccer team from 2014 to 2017. And she's currently one behind Jordan Oberlander, who played also from 2014 to 2017 and is a current volunteer assistant. She trails Alex Bilka with the school lead of 65 career goals. Definitely a cool experience for Trinity to be trailing a person that she sees on a daily basis in Jordan Oberlander.
Yeah, and a great, mentor in that aspect too. There's those three names are going to be synonymous and with excellence at Behrend and will most likely be cemented in Behrend history for years to come.
It's really cool to see. Obviously, I didn't have the experience of seeing Alex Bilka play soccer here. I don't know if you ever did, Dan.
I've not.
From what I've heard, she was an unbelievable player.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hats off to Trinity Prashash for beating a record. From a standpoint of holding a record, Dan holds the school record from discus. With that school record, you want to see other people challenge that and one day beat that record as a school record holder.
Oh, without a doubt. I had the privilege of obtaining that school record from an unbelievable athlete, actually Behrend's only national champion, Mitch Obenrader. He held the record at one point in all 4 of the throws events. So discus was not his best, but I will certainly humbly take that. And he, messaged our head coach after I did that and congratulated me, and was very happy that Behrend throws was back. And coming from an old guy perspective on the team now, I see such potential in these guys to make my record look like an everyday occurrence. With how hard these people are working, especially these young guys across the program, it would be amazing to see that go down, and it go down quickly. Just seeing the progress that our guys are making from a personal standpoint.
That's awesome. So right now Trinity is averaging 1.5 goals per game, which is an absurd number in conference play. Hopefully, she's on pace to break the record. But hopefully, we can see that at home. Be a real privilege to see her break that record at home, so everybody can acknowledge everything, all the hard work that she's done for the year. So now we're going to get into our Lions of the Week, and these are our athletes of the week listed on psblions.com. Speaking of psblions.com, if you had not had a chance to see the new website for the Behrend Athletics, please go take a look.
Yeah, it's a treat. It's amazing. The refresh that was done is awesome. I believe it's quite a bit better than most schools in the country, but I might be a little bit biased.
I would like to think so. It's very user friendly now with our mobile site, and it's appealing to the generation now of recruits, Dan, where social media is a big thing, and to be able to access social media from our site instead of having to go around and search for things is it's just a luxury for them.
Yeah, and I think it keeps the fans up to date with what's going on with Behrend Athletics. Right, we get our recaps. Thank you, and shout out Jill Yama too. For every match, every game, but being able to hear it straight from the coaches, get live updates from X and Instagram, posts is amazing too. So shout out you and Jill for getting that done.
That's psblions.com. If you don't follow us on Instagram at PSB Athletics, Instagram and Twitter. We're always posting new things, upcoming events, marketing promotions. It's great to follow. So anyways, our Lions of the Week, the athletes of the week for Behrend. First up, Lindsey Curlin, women's tennis. Lindsey Curlin, I had the pleasure of obviously speaking to Lindsey this past weekend. Great girl, very hard worker. She was named to the AMCC All-Tournament team. She actually secured the championship point for Behrend in her singles match with a 6-0, 6-0 sweep, which is very, very cool to see from her.
Absolutely. That's huge. Congrats to you, Lindsey.
And then we're going to have on the men's soccer side, Anthony Scalise, who's a freshman goalkeeper from North Huntington, Pennsylvania. Had a couple shutouts this past week against Alfred State in the tie, and then obviously the 2-0 win over Altoona to go had 10 saves for the Lions. So good on Anthony, first-year keeper. We've been going back and forth this year, splitting time with him and junior Evan Dougal. I think Anthony has stepped up, and he's shown I'm capable in conference play to make saves and keep us in games, which is good.
Yeah, those two have had some big shoes to fill after Sam York left. Still familiar with him if you follow Behrend Athletics at all. He's been an NCAA leader multiple times over his career, but they're doing an excellent job, especially pitching some shutouts recently. That's huge for both of them, so we'll hope they can keep it going.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of talking to first-year head coach Chris Ralph, who Chris Ralph's been here for 3 years now as an assistant under legendary head coach Dan Paritano. Shout out to Dan Paritano and Emma. If you haven't followed their walks, please get on that. The website is up and running. Dan and Emma Walks. Yeah, I had pleasure talking to Coach Ralph, and I said, Coach, Sam York isn't here anymore. You know that, right? You don't have the luxury of just, that's my keeper, that's my guy. He said, yeah, it's a good new challenge to have. Is see some guys step up, and it was a competition to start the year, and the competition had to be decided in the regular season. They didn't have a winner out of practice, so you split the guys up, and you see who does the best during the season. And right now, Scalise in conference play has stepped up, and good for him. Nothing against Evan Dougal. Evan Dougal has been doing his part for sure, mentoring the young freshman Scalise. So shout out to him. So yeah, Anthony Scalise and Lindsey Curlin, Lions of the Week. Congrats to those guys.
Yeah, shout out to you guys.
Get a look here at the upcoming week. What we have for Behrend Athletics. Midweek soccer game against Waynesburg at 7 p.m. at the Behrend Soccer Complex. Tom Doe's class will hopefully be on YouTube live.
Yes, we will be. We will be up there streaming that. We'll have at least 4 cameras, possibly 5, but we love doing it. It's a great thing, and you can catch that at on YouTube. The place you tune in there would be Wintergreen Media. Starts at 7 o'clock, and thanks for letting us shoot the games.
Shout out to Tom Doe for letting us use the radio room and all this great equipment.
Yeah. Thank you for all you do for not only the athletics department, but the university as a whole.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So yeah, that's midweek non-conference, Waynesburg at 7 o'clock, soccer complex. And then we have a couple senior days, soccer senior days against Carlo on Saturday. The men will start at 1 o'clock, and they'll be honoring 8 seniors. The women will be at 3:30, honoring 6 seniors. If you have not made it down to Eastland Bowl to watch a Behrend bowling match, please do so. It's very, very enjoyable. Bowling will host Uville on Saturday at noon start time at Eastland Bowl. Dan, you ever been on Eastland Bowl? You
I
bowled
have.
down there?
Yeah, multiple times. Watching the bowling team's a treat. We also got to participate in the Glow Bowling fundraiser. That was always a blast with them, and just seeing how good at bowling they truly are, and how bad I am. It's a very humbling experience. Everybody thinks they're good at bowling until they go against somebody that's good at bowling. So yeah, I absolutely would recommend that everybody get down there and support the bowling team and support your soccer teams. With 2 home matches this week and senior day as well. We'd love to get a great crowd out there to really celebrate our seniors.
Got to give a shout out to my guy Steve Banky, women's bowling head coach. Probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I've never seen him in a bad mood. I don't know if he can yell. I'll be honest with you. I don't think the man can yell. It's always a, hey, how you doing, with a smile. Even in the email, I can feel the smile. Like, that's pretty powerful things if in an email you can feel a man's smile.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, shout out to Steve Banky and that team.
No doubt.
Women's volleyball will be on the road with a conference contest at Carlo. It'll be a 1 p.m. start in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Carlo. New to the AMCC, their second year here. So
That's right. Yeah, it'll be a good match. I'm sure they're excited to just get after it another week.
And then the men's water polo team is in action at the Gannon Invite, which will be in Erie at the Hallman Aquatic Center, hosted by Gannon, this Saturday and Sunday. Men's water polo team has been getting after it. A couple great performances. Jack Hole, who's been leading. I think he's second in the MPSF in goals. Atticus Bowman, who's a freshman from New Mexico. He's first in the MPSF right now in assists. Shout out to Coach Gina for getting those guys in shape and getting after it this year. They water polo is an interesting sport, Dan. There's a lot of good water polo teams. A lot of good competition. There's really not a game where you're just gonna roll a team. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. especially, with the diversity of competition, especially as you get into the postseason, you face some really, really tough opponents. So shout out to them for getting it done against W&J. Recently, I think that was last Sunday. They did a great job handling them. Got some NCAA, some MPSF leaders, right? Which is great to see. Puts Behrend on the map. So we thank you for that.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, our men's water polo team is sponsored in the conference, Mountain Pacific Sports Federation, MPSF.
Right.
And our women's water polo team is in the Collegiate Water Polo Association. So if you're not familiar with those, that is why the AMCC does not sponsor men's and women's water polo, unfortunately. So they have to go through those two other conferences.
Right, but this match against Gannon and other teams is in Erie. So if you can pack a car, we'd love to see you get over there and support the water polo team.
I caught the men's water polo senior day last year, and one of the loudest events
Oh yes,
at Behrend I've ever been to. Music, yelling, cheering, everybody's just engaged. It was truly a great sight. It's something that I want to see at every single Behrend, the soccer complex, the Junker Center, everywhere on campus. The energy was just great.
100%. Yeah, Coach Gina and crew, they get the natatorium rocking. They have an awesome atmosphere to watch water polo, and it's such an interesting sport. If you've never been out, you got to see it at least once or twice in your experience here at Behrend.
If you've never been to a water polo game, don't be alarmed if somebody looks like they're drowning. Trust me, they will be okay. The refs will blow the whistle eventually, and that person will come up from underwater. But truly, it is a very hard sport, Dan. I can't tread water for a couple minutes, and I'm dead tired. These guys are doing it for 8-9 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It is crazy, especially playing in such deep water. I guess Junker has the benefit of having a shallow end, so the goalie gets a break. Everywhere else, I mean, treading water and having to get yourself as far out of the water as you can to be able to shoot, it is a task that not everybody is up to. So those players do an amazing job.
So yeah, those are the upcoming events for Behrend Athletics this week. If you can get out to a game, do it. You won't be disappointed. It's very, very good competition. We put out a good product here at Behrend, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up, too, we have the Mental and Physical Health Virtual Town Hall. This will be on November 18th. Obviously, it is virtual, so it is online only. This is presented by the NCAA Division III SAC, and it will take place November 18th from 8 to 9:30. If you want to register, you can head to @PSP Athletics Instagram, and the registration link is in our bio. So take a look at that. That sounds like something that can be very pertinent to students, coaches, administrators. Mental health is a big thing nowadays, Dan. So definitely, if you want to learn a little bit more, this would be a good place to do it.
No doubt. I think this is a great resource to get informed, to educate yourself a little more about mental health, and it's being put on by SAC. There is a growing presence of mental health and awareness for it in sports, and you just love to see that. There are many resources to get help, right? So, and that town hall will certainly provide you with them.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great experience for everyone. So now we're gonna get into our segment, Nothing to Do with Sports. This is a fun little segment that we will do every week just to lighten up the mood. Nothing to do with athletics. It's me basically just give a topic, and me and Dan will just kind of go back and forth and debate a little bit about the topic. So our first topic for week 1 is a hot dog a sandwich, Dan?
Okay. I don't think this is really a debate here. I don't think there's much to debate about this. I don't know about you guys, but I define a sandwich as 2 pieces of bread with a filling in the middle, right? So you place a piece of bread down, you put things in between the bread, and then you encase it with another piece of bread, right? I don't see the difference in a hot dog versus another sandwich that you would make, besides the fact that the bread might be connected. If I were to crimp a side of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich down, that would essentially be a peanut butter and jelly, hot dog sandwich. So if you have an argument to dissuade me from that point of view, I'd love to hear it.
Professor Doe, I know you want to chime in on this. I can see it.
I'm chiming in. I agree with Dan. It is a sandwich because, like he said, if you take a peanut butter and jelly bread and you put it on, let's say you just put one piece of bread out there, and you put your peanut butter on there, nice and flat. You see that? Just put another smooth. Then you get some nice strawberry jam or jelly. Maybe I'm not going to name a brand name because that's not good, but some nice, I say strawberry, whatever. You put it on there, make it nice and smooth. And you're thinking, I want to cut back on some of my bread intake. I'm going to take that piece of bread and flip it over and make myself a half of a sandwich with one piece of bread. And it's all connected. So yes, my friend, a hot dog is a sandwich.
Respectfully to both of these gentlemen, they're both very intelligent men. And I know for a fact, Dan, I'm a little biased, but you're probably one of the smarter student athletes on campus.
What makes you
He
say
won't
that?
tell you that. He won't tell you. I with my job, I have access to privileges, and I can see some GPAs. And Dan's humble, but but in this instance, he's just wrong. He's just not right. A sandwich I define as 2 pieces of bread, some meat in the middle, maybe some cheese, lettuce, whatever you're putting on your sandwich, and you flatten it down, and that's your sandwich. A hot dog, there's an opening in the bun, could fall out. I feel like it's not secure by the bread, and it's not even the bread; it's the bun. For referring to it.
Well, I see nothing bad, but he just shot himself in the foot because he said a piece of bread. Okay, great, but he said you could put on a piece of meat. What's a hot dog? Okay, thank you. Cheese. Can you put cheese on a hot dog? Yes. Lettuce. Giddy up. You have lettuce on a hot dog. You can put it all together, and
Never
guess
seen
what?
it done.
That's a sandwich.
Never seen lettuce on a hot dog. Never seen it done.
You need to get out more.
Well, no, I have a question for you here. So, if you were to take the open part of a hot dog and then close it, what does that become?
Ooh.
Those are like the mini hot dogs. What are those called? You put in like the oven.
No,
That's
no.
a different process.
Yeah, that's
it's a
something
completely
else.
different process of manufacturing it, right? You take croissant dough and you wrap it around a small hot dog, right? I'm talking about a bun, right? Essentially 2 pieces of bread with a connecting point of bread in the middle. If you take that and then you close the other side of it where it is open, does that not become what your definition is of a sandwich?
So I'm gonna use 2 examples here, and they both relate back to when you were a child, in elementary school. Dan, when your mom packed your lunch, your mom would probably tell you, "Hey Dan, I packed you a sandwich." She wouldn't tell you, "Hey Dan, I packed you a sandwich," and you look in there and there's a hot dog in there. You're expecting a sandwich, turkey, ham, bologna, whatever your preference is.
No, I hate to say this, but this goes to show you, Dan, that Noah's skirting the issue because you asked about something different as far as taking that hot dog and closing it off. Everybody's done it. When you put a hot dog inside of a microwave, okay, and you have a nice fresh bun. I'm talking fresh. You touch it. It's like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Like you push the bun, it goes. I'm talking fresh. You squish that sucker together. You've got it so it's completely closed and you can barely see the dog in there. And that, my friend, is a sandwich.
I get what you're saying, but I'm just not agreeing with what you're saying. I understand what point you're making, but also one more point from me.
Do we have to hear it?
Sorry. You don't, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is we'll go back to once again elementary school. You're sitting in the cafeteria, and a buddy comes over and he's like, "Hey, you want to trade sandwiches with me?" Sure, that happens sometimes. Yeah. Let's trade sandwiches. So he hands you turkey, ham, bologna, whatever he's got, hands it to you, and you hand him a hot dog. What do you think he's gonna? What's the look on his face gonna be?
We'd probably think that's a fair trade because the hot dog is a sandwich.
but he's expecting
Exactly.
a sandwich, and you gave him a hot dog.
He'd probably be even more excited because he gets a hot dog sandwich.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let me just rack your brain a little bit more, Noah. You ever heard of a piece of bread topped with, anything of your choice, and that's coined as an open-faced sandwich?
Ooh.
What would you define? Would you define that as a sandwich, or what would you define it as?
I think that would just be a piece of bread with meat on it.
Wait,
separate entities, not two pieces of bread, not a sandwich, just separate entities, a piece of bread with meat on top of it. That's how I would classify that. I would not classify it as a sandwich because you're not putting the top piece of bread on to close it.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you a question. Are you going to pick up that piece of bread with your so-said meat on it and just eat it like that? No, you're probably going to take it and flip it closed. It starts out as an open-faced, in your case, bread, something or other, but then as soon as you close that and you pick it up and take that first bite, well, actually, no, before you even take your first bite, as soon as you close that, that's a sandwich.
Bingo.
I wish I had like a bell. I got to get some sound effects for the next show.
Nonetheless, great debate. I'm hungry now, that's for sure. I can go for a sandwich.
I think I'm going to go get a sub. Now, is a sub a sandwich? Oh.
Yes, it is.
Oh, now what's the difference
Yes.
between a sub sandwich and a hot dog?
Once again, the sub, it's two pieces of bread, just longer bread, closed together. A hot dog still has that opening in the bun.
No, Dan,
What's the difference between a hot dog bun and a submarine sandwich bun?
it's the same
It's submarine
thing.
sandwich. It's in the name. Noah.
Sandwich.
I could so theoretically, I could make a hot dog sub and it would be a sandwich.
Ooh, Noah. Ooh.
Hot dog sub, huh?
Why wouldn't I?
Those are the best. Those
Are
are
you
the
gonna
best.
make a hot? Yeah, are you making a hot dog sub?
I'd give it a shot.
It was the best with,
I need-
with two wieners on there and a hot dog sub. You put two of them in there. That's like a sub sandwich deluxe.
What I need. So I was talking to actually a men's volleyball player over the weekend, and he actually agreed with me on the point. He was actually very, very hot topic for him too. Caden Mealy, shout out, men's volleyball player, and he said, could a hot dog be more considered like a taco, in a sense of?
No, there's no shell. No, see now, no, you're trying to
So
make
what
this
it-
all confusing.
If you put a hot dog in between a taco shell, what do you consider in that?
A taco with a hot dog in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's a hot dog taco.
All right, now we're just making
That's a talk dog.
we're just making names up in here now. We've gotten off.
Well, who's gonna eat it like that? Who's gonna
Eat a hot dog sub?
Oh, they are delicious. My grandmother used to take the actual hot dog back in the day and slice the hot dog so it was opened up and put it in like that because grandmas do the grandma thing, and those are delish.
100%. You slice the hot dog, you put it on a hot pan, you get that.
Yeah.
The middle of the hot dog nice and brown. And then you can put it in whatever vessel you want.
A vessel, I like that. What about this? What about the days, and this has happened, where grandma's taken the hot dog, split it in half, opened it up, and put it on a piece of bread, and then put another piece of bread on top of that? Huh?
What would
Noah?
you
I
consider
consider it
that?
a hot dog,
It's a hot dog
not
sandwich.
a sandwich.
It's a
I
hot dog
consider
sandwich.
It, Grandma gave me a hot dog, but she just put it in between bread because Grandma did Grandma things.
Wait, hold
I
on.
can argue with Grandma.
Hold on, Grandma's on the line. Hold on one second. Hello, Grandma. Yes, Tommy. Yes, did you hear what they're talking about there as far as that sandwich and hot dog? Yes, Tommy. That guy Noah, he's absolutely wrong. Tell him. Back in my day, that's not the way it was. I mean, we hardly even had actually hot dog buns to put them on, so we had to use bread. So yes, it was a sandwich. Just tell Noah he's wrong, and he can tell him better luck next time. Okay, Grandma. Was that you have to go, Grandma? Yes, I got something in the oven. I got some cookies. They'll be ready for you when you get done here, Tommy. Oh, okay. Thanks, Grandma. Have a great day. Thanks for calling in. You're welcome. Love you. Love you too, Grandma. Well, that was Grandma.
There you have it.
Scene done by Tom Doe. Great acting.
You can't prove that.
What he doesn't know is anybody's grandma is gonna agree with their grandson. You know that's a fact.
Giddy
You know
up
that
again.
there's no
There we go.
There's no disagreement with from
Except for
Grandma.
your grandma. She'll say no as far as the sandwich thing goes. She's going to say, sorry, I agree with Tom's grandma.
It is what it is. No.
But nonetheless, great debate. I was outnumbered this time in the radio. Hopefully, we can get some guests in here that will be on my side at some point.
Fantastic. Good time,
Yeah,
guys.
that was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. All right. Well, that looks like we are out of time here for our first inaugural episode of the Bits of Behrend podcast. No, I'd like to thank you for having me here. Professor Joe, I appreciate you and your support in that argument.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I appreciate you agreeing to co-host with me this show. I'm hoping it brings joy to the athletes to hear, and it's informative, and people get something out of it. You can catch Bits of Behrend every Monday, 12:30, on BVZ Radio, or listen at home anytime on the Behrend Athletics YouTube page. Thanks for listening to Week 1, and catch you guys next week. Thank you.